I am sharing my ice plunge bath experience to anybody who does not like the cold, has thought about doing it, wanted to get more information. So, I am somebody who has grown up in San Diego by the beach. I lived in Hawaii for a long time and I'm moving back now. My family's from Texas. I love the heat, I love the sun. I was in the snow for my first time, falling snow for my first time when I was 29 years old. We never went to cold places when I was younger. My parents grew up in the snow. My mom grew up in Michigan and she always said she never wanted to go back. So we never had like vacations in the snow or in the cold. I was always freezing when I got out of the water. Like I have never liked the cold. When I did live in Oregon for about a year and a half, I felt like I sat in front of the heater the whole time I was there. It was really hard for me to like do things because like my body is like it needs the sun and heat and stuff to like be active. So I have always, but I've been like a health conscious mostly person, body, mind, spirit. Like I try to take care of myself in a lot of ways. So like I understood like what ice plunge would help with. And it's basically for the nervous system. I have responded a long time. I've worked on it a lot, but fight or flight, like it's like when you are faced when with the uncomfortable situations, are you fight or flight? Can you just get into mo a certain mode, a centered mode when you are faced with the fight or flight moment? And the ice bath helps you do that. It puts you in a situation that is really uncomfortable where your body has to assimilate and center and focus, or are you gonna like jump out basically? So I was already like, I knew I could do it because I think the pressure of other people around. And, I have been doing breathing, meditation, and breath work in the mornings now. So I don't know, like, as much as I don't like the cold and it's not something that makes me feel comfortable when I thought about it, I knew that I was gonna just be able to do it. And so this experience was through this yoga studio. So we did yoga and breath work before we went outside and did the ice bath. So that's another thing. I was in like a really good like headspace when I was gonna start doing the ice bath. So we did yoga for about like 45 minutes and then we did breath work for about like 10 or 15 minutes. So I was already like in a relaxed state. My nervous system was relaxed. But then, we got outside and I'm looking at the ice bath and they were these tin bath size tin aluminum. I don't even know what they were, filled with water. And then there was like a thick layer of ice, not like a solid. It was like somebody put like a bunch of broken up ice in. And so everyone's like standing around waiting. There were two people who went in first, and then they were cool. A lot of people that I had done it, they had already done it before. And so he was like, "Who's up next?" And I was like, nobody stepped up, and I was like, "I'll do it." So there was two baths. So there was one person right next to me and then me, and we were all like hugging, getting ready, because even if you've done it before, it's still like, it could be like a lot. And so the guy who was like facilitating, he's like, "Okay, do some breaths with me, and this is how you're going to be breathing when you're under in the ice or in the water, the cold water." I think it's like 42 degrees, and we're going for a minute and a half, 90 seconds. More than that, I think there's like a certain amount of times a week you should do it. More than that, it's like you have to stay in longer, and it's like not as people say, "Oh, it's not as like effective," but really like I feel like once you stay in ice and water for a longer time than these few minutes, it's another sort of place that you gotta, it's more, there's more focus needed because your body's like, so I'm not gonna die, so I'm not gonna die. Anyway, I'm standing and he's like, "Okay, this is how you're gonna breathe." And so he's doing these long breaths, like in and out. Slow too. In And like I feel like my brain was a little scattered. Like I wasn't going crazy, but I was just like, it wasn't focusing. Like I knew I knew what I was getting into, but my body was just like, no, this isn't going to happen. I don't know. I was like, I felt like kind of there, but not there. And me and the guy and then the facilitator were all breathing together. And the guy says, all right, on the next out breath, you're going to step in. And I was just like, okay, I'm stepping in, And I take my breath in. And on the out, I straight up step in and I get all the way under, all the way with my shoulders out or in. And I'm like, I start like hyperventilating. And like, I assumed that like, I just didn't think about it. Obviously, this is going to happen. Obviously, this is what is supposed to happen. You're supposed to face that flight or flight. And it's like, can you grab on to centered or are you going to let it get the best of you and you get out? So I was like, I was kind of inhaling, and my brain was like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to get back to." I was like, "Oh, it's not happening." I was trying, and my body is just doing what I can't control how my body's breathing. And so I was about to get out. I start pushing to get out, and I come out a little bit, like my shoulders are out, and then my body just went, and I was like. And I was like, okay. But then, like, on my out, I was making noise. I was like, like I could feel it in my stomach. And at one point, I started accepting. And, like, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And then I started feeling my feet and my hand. Like, I started having body awareness. Like, I was coming back into myself. And I unclenched my hands were like this. I unclenched them under. I unclenched my legs, and I just kind of relaxed. I do know that I was still outside of it. Like I was like not think. I wanted to go down, but I like couldn't go down. And this, so I'm thankful for this because I needed this in this moment. But somebody came up behind me and they went like this, and they just like touched right here, and it kind of takes you out of the experience because it's another variable distracting you from the uncomfortable. Because do you know how soothing it is to get like somebody just like touching your head? She was going like this, touching your head right here while you're in that ice bath. Like, I needed that so bad. And so it was like, she just calmed me and for like a couple of minutes. And then I was just in it. And then he's like, a minute. It's like 30 more seconds. I was like, I fucking got this. And then I step out and it was just amazing. My body felt like, well, it's kind of humid here right now. It's a little warm outside. So I just like, my body was just, I was just like, and it was super invigorating. It was super amazing. If you've been wanting to do it, just do it and don't have expectations about how your first time should be or what. I say push through and don't get out. Don't quit. It's easier than you think it is. Just like tattoos, I feel like tattoos are way easier than you think they're going to be. They're way less pain than you think they're going to be. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. The ice bath is uncomfortable, but the push through is in the magic too. So there's another one coming up on January 4th. This next Saturday, next couple Saturdays or whatever. So I'm going to do it again and I'm going to film myself and I'll do another like part 2 about how it was. So I hope you enjoyed that and blessings to you. Happy holidays. It's a big transition into 2025 from 2024. And stay keep focus. Keep focus. Keep focus.